pastoring, and I could have fell out of my chair right there. But I thought to myself, I said, well, it'll come in time. It'll come. And the part of this, see, that's a minister. A lot of times as preachers, we get to the place where we, out in the world, so to speak, as pastors I've seen and preachers I've seen, they think that, boy, I've arrived, I've got this and I've got that. But I learned so much from my assistant. I mean, I've always been just like the way I am now, but I learned more from my assistant, 80 years old. He would do anything and everything for anybody just to be a help to them. Right. He was the most humble man, still is the most. Even after I've been gone from our church since June, the guy called me just Thursday, I think it was, checking on me, seeing how everything was going about being going through this suffering. He was 80 years old, he's 81 years old, and I had to beat him to the hospital. But I want to be honest with you. I had a knee surgery and I dropped my cane. Me and him about butted heads. He trying to get it for me. What I've learned is that just like the Lord, it's not how high we fly and how we get up in the accolades. I know I'm never going to be able to make it there. But you know, I've seen that where the main thing is being humble. Yeah. Because we're a servant. Christ come to be a servant to them. They couldn't understand. No, don't you wash my feet. And the Lord said, if I don't wash your feet, you have no part with me. He said, not only my feet, but my head and everything else. Mm-hmm. But Jesus was showing we to reach out and to minister unto one another. Hey, I'll be honest with you, I'd love to have the big churches and everybody else do everything for me and this, that, the other. But you know, I mean, insurance and all that stuff, that'd be wonderful. But I want to tell you something. Where it really being a minister is this, is when, it's not when I preach messages. It's not when I've done all these things. It's when I've sat in the hospital room and watching a loved one's, a church member's loved one pass away. And that's where I've been able to minister. I've been able to help. Like Brother Jeff does. He gets to go and help when they're down at their worst level. Brother Kelly does the very same thing. Wants to help so much. And that's the way we should be as Christians. We should want to. You can't talk to them. I think you said this today. You can't talk to them until, so to speak, you can help them. They don't care how much you know until they see how much you care. Right. Has always been my motto. I borrowed it from somewhere. But it is the honest truth. When we reach out as a Christian like Christ-like, and we don't care if we get the accolades or not, but we reach out and help somebody, and we do that. Boy, how more susceptible are they to the gospel? But here Christ lays that arm out there, and without a word, without reviling, I'll be honest with you, I've been the first one. I wasn't accustomed that I would say, this ain't fair, this ain't fair, this ain't fair. I'm a preacher. You shouldn't crucify me. But here's the Son of God. He had much more for that. And He was bringing to for us. But there upon Golgotha, we know the disciples ran away. We know the descendants pushed Him away. And can I say this? The Divine One turned away. There, if we can ever say, has anybody ever been alone in this world? If I can say for a split time, here Christ is taken out of place. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? For that period of time, it was as if it was I upon that cross, or it was you upon that cross. He was God in the flesh, but He was taking that moment of being the sin for us. That man that knew no sin. Amen. But the only way He knew it is He was carrying it for what we had done. Amen. And we couldn't answer our own sin. We couldn't get to heaven. But Christ, knowing that He loved us so much, that He carried even something He didn't even do. Yeah. He died for our sins so that you and I could go to heaven and be with Him. He hung upon the cross. They say, I was doing a study on this one time. They say literally, if I'm not mistaken, 12 to 3 it became dark. Historians, Josephus, some other ones had said this. At that moment in time, for 3 hours, people were literally having to bring torches out. It got so dark. This is not Bible, this is history. They said for 3 hours they brought out torches because it became so dark in that world. I don't know if that's simply of God turning away or what, but I know at that time, at that moment, Christ was upon the cross, dying for the sins, and He didn't come in. But He's up there so that you and I could go to heaven one day, and there the disciples had ran, the descendants had pushed, and the Holy One had turned at that time. There He hung. And I want to say to this point here, there He was, suffering mentally, physically, and spiritually. And He did it all for us.
Amen.
Now I'm just going to say this real quickly and I'm going to be done. That was all introduction. Only person in the history of the world could actually say that he was lonely. But just in your mind here, there's times that we will become disobedient and will never be alone. Jonah disobeyed God. He went to, like we say, Whale University or something like that. He went down, I think there's the 5 downs of Jonah. He went down, he went down, went down, went down. If you watch that, as you read that in the book of Jonah. And yet, God prepared a whale for him, a big fish. If you ever thought about this, if God hadn't prepared that fish, he would have drowned. But God cared for him. God was still speaking to his heart the whole time. He's in the the belly of the whale. Have you ever thought about Peter? Peter just over in the garden said, I won't forsake thee. I'll go all the way. I'll die for you. And I believe Peter meant every word. I believe he's the redneck of rednecks that ever was there. And I believe when he said he meant he was going to do it. But when it come down to it, and the way I understand just geography, things of this nature, I used to think it was a long ways away where Christ was going from hall to hall, but really it was actually closer. And it was close enough that where the eyes of the Lord, when the rooster crowed, that the eyes cast, it said that Christ's eyes cast upon Peter. So Peter seen the Lord and the Lord seen Peter. So they were close enough to see. But hey, and it's something, you ever been when you were with your family or your mom, your dad when you was growing up? And a lot of times you wish there was words. Right. But your mom, your dad could just look at you, yes, and you could read everything that was going in. I don't know if it was anger out of the Lord. I kind of go away from that. But I think it was disappointment.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to preach a message not too long ago. Well, matter of fact, this morning the Lord kind of changed it. Where were you when I needed you? And I was like, oh, Peter, I won't deny you. I won't. And that rooster. But listen, the Lord knew exactly where he was at. The Bible says Peter ran off and he wept bitterly. Yeah. Now, I want to say this. When he went and wept bitter, now I'll tell you something y'all probably already know, but I found this years ago. The Bible says that Peter went and wept bitterly. It's kind of quiet. And then the 3 women the women went down to the tomb. And Peter, wherever he's at, they talk, and history, there's some folks talk about history and stuff about Peter, well, I do know this from the Bible, that when the women went down to the tomb and they seen the gardener, supposing, it was the gardener, but it was Jesus, and then he says Mary Rabboni, and she sees him as Christ, and I mean, she was jubilant inside of herself. She probably didn't know what to do with herself. And the way the Bible talks about that, he literally had to hold her back from her coming. I mean, you get into studying these words, this thing opens up. She wasn't just going, oh, hey. It was like, oh, my goodness. And she just wanted to wrap her arms around him and love and kiss upon him and all that. But the Lord was holding her back, for he had not ascended. But let me say this, though. In that time, I love this part when I found this. I think it's only in the book of Mark that it says this. He said, he told her, he said, I want you to go back and tell my disciples. And then, if it was in our movies today, you would go, why don't you go tell them disciples, and, oh yeah, Would you tell Peter?
Yeah.
Amen.
You say, what's so significant about that? He knew Peter had messed up. There's a difference. There's preachers can get up and preach a lot of different messages, great messages and stuff. And that's wonderful. That's great. But I'll be honest with you, I don't care if it's a backwoods preacher or what, but as long as I hear from the Lord.
Yeah.
When you get a word from the Lord,
Amen.
son, it don't have to be pretty or anything like that. When God speaks to your soul,
Amen.
you know.
Amen.
I believe Peter knew that day. Peter just kind of held down over to the side. And Peter all over there, in other words, and I failed him. I said, and I really wanted to, but I failed him right there. And then Mary comes in, and they talk, and they say, you ain't gonna believe this, and all that. And over there's old Peter over just shaking his head, thinking, what the Lord's done to me, through me, there's no chance. And then she said, oh yeah, Peter, he told me to tell you something.
Amen.
If I can say this, that'll bring fire to your soul.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's good when he speaks to you,
Yeah.
Amen.
but when the Lord hones in on my soul,
Yeah.
that's a total. That means out of the billions of people in this world, he took time
Amen.
for
Amen.
me. And
Amen.
I'm going to say this, 'cause I'm not going to go further. The other part was discouragement, and the other part was death. But I want to just talk about the loneliness. He became lonely, so we could. But I'm just going to close on this part here about disobedience and stuff. Oh, Peter. Now, this is history. Now, I don't know. We'll know when we get to heaven. This is history. This is not in the Bible. This is history. But they have wrote and said that some other writers, that like Josephus, people like that, would write this. And they said that Peter was so tore up. I mean, if you think about it, he was like a madman. I'm talking about tearing this world upside down. The Bible even says that. They talk about the disciples, these men that turned the world upside down. But I want to say this on Peter. They say that, now like I said, history. They said it was wrote out that it come down to the time old Peter was going to die. And we know Peter through tradition and history, so to speak. And even the Lord even speaks about how he was going to die. But he supposedly is crucified. But they said there was somebody by the cross. And we know that they've said that he mentioned, I'm not worthy to die as my Lord, and let me die upside down on the cross. But here's the thing that got me when I read this. And like I say, we'll know when we get there. Somebody said they heard his last few words was this. Ask me again, Lord, how much I love thee. I thought,
Wow.
God became lonely so we would never taste loneliness. You can be a stranger in the room of 1,000 folks. But I can say this, you can be in a world of billions of people and still not be alone.
Amen.
Because the Lord says, just like it was on, He walks with me and He talks with me.
Yes.
Walking through the garden, whether it's, have you ever noticed you go through the valleys? He's there with you. Now, you might not see Him, you might not hear Him, so to speak, but like that old song down the road, He's standing somewhere in the shadows. You'll find Jesus.
Amen.
Hey, He's right there. Like I said this morning, sometimes He's up on the side of the hill and He's watching the enemies and making sure, just like a shepherd would over his sheep, just keep looking. And them sheep would get all scared, and all in the middle of the night, all they'd have to hear would that shepherd go, I'm here. And sheep would lay down calmly. I'm so glad He became lonely so I wouldn't have to be. What a Savior is mine. Let's bow our heads. Our gracious